Good day, everyone. Today, I'm here to talk about a hero in a novel whom I wish I could act like him in my life. He's Rafe from the novel The Lord of the Flies, written by William Golding. Rafe was a 12-year-old boy among the schoolboys who were left alone in a remote island with no adults around after a plane crash. Rafe had weak spots as well, but he possessed some virtues that I wish that I could have, especially these days when I'm greatly troubled. Recently, I have to practice hard for the upcoming ballet performance, but I don't have the heart to practice as my dancing skills are poor. And whenever I practice, I've made a ton of mistakes, and it frustrates me so much that in the end, I don't have the strength and courage to even think of practicing. In this dilemma, Rafe in The Lord of the Flies, a novel that I've just read for a few days ago, came up in my mind. Rafe was a boy with an unwavering sense of self-discipline. The island in the story didn't have any adults in it, and thus there was basically no rules. It was easy to cast away all the civilization one knew, and let the primeval desire repressed by civilization slip out. In the story, the boys soon did things that they didn't dare to do in this world with adults around. They bullied and they hunted, killing pigs in bloodlust. However, Rafe never did things like that. He never joined in that barbarous hunt, regarding this as an act of savagery, and upheld his self-discipline firm. This self-discipline of not surrendering to the inborn calling of savagery and the rejection of retrogression of Rafe moved me, and I feel an impelling need to gather up myself and be self-disciplined like Rafe. No force is stopping me from not practicing dancing, but still, I didn't even plan to do it. It mortifies me. Besides, Rafe was also a very persistent character, and he tried hard to do the right thing, regardless of the hardship he would have to encounter. In the story, he had to lead the boys to get them together and set up rules so that there could be an organized system for the boys to survive on the island. However, Rafe was not a great leader, just like me, not a great dancer. Rafe was not strong-willed like Jack, who could keep the boys in his control by a sort of tyrant-like ferocity. But still, Rafe did his best to keep everyone together. That's but Jack's constant attempt to snatch power and the laziness of the boys. Rafe knew that it was important to keep the fire on the mountaintop going, in order to use its smoke produced to signal the other ships to come to their rescue. But he met a lot of resistance doing so, like the unorganized patrols of the fire, resulted by the playfulness of the boys and the fear they held for the imaginary beast dwelling on the mountaintop with their fire. It was not like that Rafe was not afraid of challenges. He was, but nonetheless, he faced it. I hope I can have such persistence and courage to keep on practicing dancing, even though I'm nothing close to an average dancer. Life is full of challenges. One needs to have endurance and stamina to not to be broken by them, to always get up where you fall, and to keep on going. And if Rafe, a 12-year-old boy, could be so strong as well, why can't I? His story encourages me to be unafraid of failures. Apart from self-discipline and persistence, Rafe also had a conscientious heart. There was a boy called Peggy among the schoolboys on the island. He was a lovesick because he wore spectacles and was fat. Although Rafe and Peggy weren't exactly friends, Rafe still managed to cast away his prejudice to Peggy and stood up for him when Jack was pecking at him. Rafe was also resilient. He, as a British boy only of the age of 12, grew used to the life on the island quickly and learned to build shelters and collect fruits. Also, Rafe wasn't a strong leader in the first place, but when things are getting out of hand and the rules and civilization among the boys are corrupting, he began to realize that he needed to be strong. He therefore summoned our assembly to sort things out, and when everyone was trying to speak all at once in the assembly, he said for the first time, with the unfamiliar authority of a leader in his voice, "You voted me for yourself. Now you do what I say." This kind of resilience is not an inborn kind. It was mustered up by Rafe by his sheer willpower. Everyone could possess it, as long as we tried it hard enough and maintain an open mind, and, most importantly, to not to be afraid to try. Life is always changing, and we all need to be resilient in order to thrive in this life. You have to fit in everywhere in order to become part of this community. Only then could you be successful. Rick encourages me to have self-discipline and always be persistent, never giving up easily. He also taught me to hold our conscience dearly, for this was what marked human beings out from savages and animals. To maintain a righteous man who could live without anxiety brought by the ghost of the wrong deeds done by them in the past, one needs to lead a moral life. Ray's resilience was also inspiring, reminding us of the inconstancy of the life. That's the end of my presentation. I hope everyone could learn from Ray and be persistent and always brave. Thank you.